Hello, and welcome back to my channel. It is good to see everybody, even if it's a shit reason why we're all here. I do want to say a quick hello to some people in the chat. I'm loving seeing all those goats, and if it's anyone's first time here, just to explain, when I started my channel, I did live on a goat farm. I raised goats, and some of the people in this chat helped me name those goats. Tusk being one of them. Hello, Tusk. Chris Shapley, how are you doing? I tell you, my call is one of the only people who leaves a comment on every single video and every single live stream, and I really truly appreciate it. A huge thank you to Tattie-bogle, who actually redid my intro to include more goat images. I don't know. He had to go through my whole entire video back catalog to see, do we have any more images of the goats? So yeah, thanks, Teddy. And yeah, Secular Rarity, how are you? It's my first time. God love you. God love you. This is your first time here? Yeah, it's not going to let up. Last week was a very, very intense discussion. And I appreciate everyone that was there who left comments. Right. So you can tell I'm a bit nervous at this particular discussion, but someone asked me, where is the donate button gone? I knocked the donations button off for this stream because what we're going to talk about is so serious that I decided that if you were going to donate, the pinned comment has the Alabama coalition against domestic violence. And if you are going to donate, I would much rather you donate to them because right now they really, really need it. If you do want to donate to the channel, of course, you can become a member, a patron. There's the PayPal. If you really want to donate to PayPal, you can donate to PayPal. And I will do my best to read anything that comes in out. But please, I can't push it enough how important it is to support that charity. This is not, I don't really do live streams where I raise funds for charity, and I can't force you guys. I'm not asking you guys, but I'm encouraging, I'm trying to encourage you. Instead of to donate to me, donate direct to the charity who actually has a background and a history in dealing with this type of violence that we're going to talk about tonight. It's better off in their pocket. It really, really is. So, what are we going to talk about? So, a few of you guys know that back in July, Kent Hovind was arrested on suspicion of domestic violence against his third wife, who I don't know if it was his wife because, you know, he's a fundamentalist Christian and they don't really believe in divorce. So that's questionable. But first of all, we're going to go through what the verdict was and why. And then we'll look at Cindi Lincoln. She's going by Cindi Lincoln again. And we're going to go through her recent video where she released the full audio. Unfortunately, Kent Hovind decided to go on a live stream on his own channel and butcher it, as he does, and trying to manipulate and gaslight, and only played clips of the audio. So she released the full audio and text messages from him where he tried to silence her. So again, the super chat function, the super stickers, I'm sorry, they have been taken off. Please, Tatty, thank you. Please do donate through the Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Abuse. They could use your help a lot more than I could, I believe. So let's take a look at this, and then I will bring in my my guests who is going to go through the fucking video and give me their opinion. So this is the sum up. This is the summation that came from the District Court of kind of County, Alabama. Sorry. Canucha, is it? Canucha? I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. Basically that he has been found guilty and he has a fine of $500, which is taxed, of course. Court costs are also taxed, along with €100 bail. A payment is due before October 18th, which he has already said on his stream that he's going to appeal. Defendant is sentenced to 1 year in jail. Now, I heard the 1 year in jail bit. It's this next bit that really, really annoys me. The defendant shall serve 30 days, a month in the county jail, and the balance shall be suspended. So the rest of it is going to be 11 months, just cut off his sentence if he serves 30 days. The defendant shall report to the county jail on or before the 18th of October. Again, he's trying to appeal it. And on 1 year, 1 fucking year unsupervised probation. And the defendant shall pay restitution to the victim, Cindi Lincoln, in the amount of $2,124.72 for medical expenses incurred and paid by her. So basically, he's gotten a slap on the wrist for around $2,500. Just over. Yeah, tax. He fucking hates tax. We all know he hates tax. But just imagine this, guys. The lad nearly fucking broke her back. And all he has to pay is $2,500. Now, I know the cost of medical care in the US is astronomical. What the fuck did she get done that she only paid $2,000? Because you go into an A&E, you go into an emergency room in the US, and you're paying nearly that just to get seen, for fuck's sake. So, I mean, only $2,000. I'm going to get my guests in for this in a second. But I just want to, yeah. This is it exactly. It is the state of Alabama. Domestic violence is not a huge deal there. So just to show you guys what is constituted in Alabama regarding domestic violence. You have domestic violence in the first degree. The crime may be charged when the aggressor commits either first degree assault or aggravated stalking. Domestic violence in the second degree can occur when the aggressor commits second degree assault, stalking, not aggravated. Yeah, because there's a huge difference there. Intimidates a witness, which he did. Commits first or second degree burglary, which his mate did and smashed up her house, or commits first degree criminal mischief, which again, his mate did. And we'll go through all of that in her video. And domestic violence in the third degree domestic violence occurs when the defendant commits the crimes of a third degree assault, menacing, reckless endangerment, criminal coercion, harassment, criminal surveillance, harassing communications. Again, all of these he has done to this woman. So this is what he was brought up on. And unfortunately, it is deemed a misdemeanor, Class A misdemeanor. So the maximum he could have gotten is a 1 year, is a 1 year prison sentence with a minimum of 10 days served. Is a Class A misdemeanor. Is the max, and then the $6,000. But of course, she didn't get $6,000. Okay. Steve, thank you. Steve has kind of submitted that the $2,000 was just not covered by our health insurance. That makes sense. Personally speaking, I believe he should have paid the whole fucking lot. But you know, this is what we get: $6,000 max, and 1 year. And the thing with the 1 year is that you only have to serve a minimum of 10 days. They gave him a minimum of 30. If he serves 30 days, which you know he's not going to want to do, then he gets out for the rest of the year. With only 1 year, starting from when he gets out, by the way, of unsupervised, unsupervised probation. That's it. You can understand why I'm a bit upset about this. And just to really quickly show, these are the stats in the last 2 years of Alabama, of the US, and where it rates on in terms of domestic abuse cases. And as you can see, the further down the graph you go, the more extreme it is. So you can see there, Alabama is not dead center. It's actually below dead center. So it's one of the higher ups, but not one of the more grievous states. But it's still up there. It still could do better. You have 37% of women. 37% of women in Alabama likely to be domestically abused in some way, shape, or form. So with that, I am going to invite in my guests. I have Pale Blue Mama and Savage Minnow, and they're going to give me their thoughts. So, ladies.
Hi,
welcome.
Hello. I get more and more irritated the more I hear about this case. I heard like, oh, okay, he was convicted, and I was like, yeah, and just stuff that I've been going through on. But like, I just glanced over that document and I was like, yeah, okay, a year could be worse. And then, like you said, it's like, no, he doesn't even, it's not even a year, it's a month. I just keep getting more and more irate. And then it's like, the more I try to keep finding information on it, I'm so glad you were able to find all this information on it, because it's like, I go looking on it and nobody's even talking about it. And I just get more and more upset. And yeah, I'm sure.
People know me by now. I don't do things half-arsed. Like if I'm going to be covering something, I'm going to find the information. That just has to happen. So it really upset me too. And yours is one of the first streams that I actually watched when the news broke. You were a couple of weeks after. I think like 2 weeks after the news broke that you'd been arrested.
Yeah, and I didn't even have very much information at the time, and I was like, look, this is all we know. But yeah, just trying to keep an eye on it. I'm just so grateful to you for finding all of this information and reporting on it.
Amanda, how are you feeling?
The dog is barking. I'm right there.
The dog wants to join in. I love that dog.
Yeah, she's fine. She's fine. Sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, obviously, I was angry like when I first saw it, because I saw the report first that talked about a suspended sentence, and I looked at it and angry, yes, but also I felt like, yeah, I mean, I didn't really expect much more, especially from Alabama. So yeah,
I had hoped, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't like a huge surprise. It was a letdown after, like I said, when I had first glanced over the document and been like, okay, a year, like that was already kind of like a okay. And then
there's like 30 days and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Miss Rhino had put out a tweet, and that's where I saw it first, and he mentioned, the money. And I thought, well, I think the rest of us were thinking about the sentence itself. And I said, well, all my ex got was one night, but the cops were nice enough to call me when they let him out to warn me that he was coming home. That was it. So,
I mean, that's just me. I got shivers there, because you've talked about that before.
Yeah.
You said it to me before that he only got one night, and then yeah, it's depressing. It's depressing.
Yeah.
It's the reason why people don't come forward. And I hate to say that, because I am somebody who, at this point, if what happened to me again, I would come forward. But at the time I didn't. And it's because of stories like that, unfortunately, that I didn't feel comfortable coming forward,
So most people know I'm currently like in an abusive situation with my parents, actually. And I had to call the cops on my father a couple weeks ago. And I'm sitting on the front porch waiting for the cops to come, and they pull up. My father fucking bolts it right to them. And it's, some older white guy just like my dad. And he sits there and talks to my father for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, so
they're all buddy.
Calls, you just like go talk to the abuser first and just chill. It was fucking nuts. And then they did literally nothing. They just like, why are you still here? I'm like, I'm trying to leave. It's just difficult at the moment. But like,
Let's look at Gabby Petito, and
yeah,
they're not doing any better. They're not doing any better.
Well, I mean, okay, so I haven't really talked about this at all on my channel. I mentioned it in one video that's now kind of privatized, but the point of domestic abuse is not just simply the physical abuse. It is the mental torture that women go through, predominantly women, not just women, but predominantly women. The bruising is bad. Bruising is bad, but the psychological torture can be so much worse. One of the reasons why I was forced to leave the farm after 7.5 years of my life there was because the son of the man I was caring for was growing more and more hostile, was verbally abusing me daily, where he was screaming an inch from my face. And I was worried. I was scared for my life. I actually thought he might turn violent. And a few days before I left, he was messing at my car. He was under my car.
Jesus.
So domestic abuse is, yes, it can be about romantic relationships, but it's not purely, as Amanda just said, her parents. One of my best friends became controlling, and every time I would try to object to something, but if you leave, my farm is dead. If you leave, I have to end my 42 years in business. If you leave, and it was that emotional abuse that, and what would happen to my goats, if I left, that kept me there for so long, living under the abuse of his son that he would do absolutely nothing about.
Yeah, there tends to be a lot of gaslighting. And it's hard to, I don't know, it's just hard to understand what's happening to you, because it's not like it starts right away super duper bad. It starts with just a little bit of emotional abuse, a little bit make you feel bad, and then you start, oh, you don't need to see your friends or your family so much, so they isolate you. And that's what my ex did. My parents more or less just made it impossible, because I came here to take care of them physically. They're older, and it's just, so that it's just them and you, so they can basically plant whatever they want into your head and make you feel like not only are you this, whatever they're telling you that you are, but that you fucking deserve it. And that's why when you just go, you're right, I deserve it, and then you take it, and it sucks when you take it fucking years and years and years. It's,
I mean, what struck me when I first heard about the ruling, I heard, again, like Minnow, I heard about the 1 year. I didn't realize it was only 30 days in prison served. That just I'm not involved in the case, but it just ripped my heart out.
Yeah, it's just that, like, the pit of your stomach, like, you got kicked.
It's a bit of re-victimization, like when fucking Cosby, was let out. I was, that hurt when he got out. That felt, yeah.
And it was on a technicality, not because he didn't do anything wrong. It was because of immunity that he was granted by this asshole that he should never have been granted immunity for.
Yep, it was dumb. It was fucking stupid.
And that's why it won't surprise me if it's some stupid bullshit that, like, Ken Hovind on appeal doesn't even spend a day in jail, gets off in 6 months probation or some shit. It wouldn't surprise me.
That they just hate him so much because of what he did with his taxes that they're not going to let him get away with that shit. But you're probably right. I didn't even really take that into consideration, that he might not even spend any time in jail. So cool. All right.
Or is he like one of those who's like so freaking litigious that they're just like, whatever, dude. Like, I don't even want to deal with you. Get him out of here.
I don't know if you guys have actually seen the video put out by Cindi Lincoln herself. So as I mentioned, we're going to go through it. We are going to go through it.
I've steeled my nerves. I'm ready.
Yeah, you'll need to. Big, massive fucking trigger warning, because she does play the complete audio of the attack. It doesn't necessarily put her in a good light either, and she comes out and says, "Look, I'm not perfect. I regret how I acted. I regret some of my language used." But when you're in the height of it, you know, it's just one of those things. And what they did was they tried to gaslight her and say, "Well, because you use this language." If you watch, and please don't, because don't give him the view. But a couple of days ago, Kent Hovind actually went live on this, and he was only using bits and pieces of the audio, which is what prompted her to actually have the courage to do that 1 hour video. So we're going to go through it. Brace yourselves. That's all I can say.
And I have to say before you play it, I do have to commend her for, you know, saying, hey, you know, there is stuff that doesn't put me in the best of light, but I'm still going to release this. And and it sucks. And I feel like this is yet another example of re-victimization, where it's like she has to like go through sharing this with us and say, okay, you know what, not only am I going to like put out this information about this attack, but like also stuff that doesn't necessarily put me in the best of light. And it's I commend her strength is I think what I want to say on that.
Yeah,
I felt like she didn't need to do that, because obviously we've all been there, especially with our abusers, that we just snap, and it's not like she put her hands on him at all. So for her to feel the need to apologize just for, you know, the way she spoke or whatever, that hurt me a little bit.
Am I sharing the wrong one? I am sharing the wrong one. I'm sharing the stream. Yay! Can I get a hashtag Keelah Can Tech in the chat, please? Make me feel better. I have to be able to have a laugh at yourself, lads. Which one is it? It's this one. It's this one. So many tabs open. I'm sorry. See, I'm watching the chat. I am watching the chat. You know, I love you guys. Right. So this is the complete thing. I will have to stop it, obviously, for copyright. And I think I have it at 175. Now, the reason why I have it at 175 is for two reasons. First of all, she sounds like a real person. Because obviously when you're reliving trauma, you will go very, very quiet. You will go very, very slow, because you're trying to tell the absolute truth. And this is seen throughout the audio. The other reason is for copyright reasons. I do have to speed it up a little bit, so like I'm not copyright struck, and also so that I don't want this stream nuked. So here we go.
The unedited body slam audio. Trigger alert. This is not going to be pretty. And Hovind body slams his wife, myself, Cindi Lincoln. Please note, I'm only going public with this because Kent Hovind is slandering me. I kept this to myself to protect my husband since October 25th, 2020. However, I am not going to permit him to lie about me in public. I'm going to present evidence that it is Kent Hovind who is lying. Note this audio is unedited. Apparently Kent Hovind uploaded an edited version. I want to apologize for my unseemly behavior. I was extremely angry and annoyed and fed up and wishing to stand against what I perceived was manipulative, deceitful, evil behavior on my husband's part. I believe he was recording me with the intent to use it against me, as he's doing right now, and provoking me intentionally so that he could use my anger against me. AJ's body slam incident, linked here, will give you more background on why Kent's recording of me was such a huge sore spot, causing me to finally blow my cool after months of it. Thank you, AJ. Please listen to the audio and confirm some of the lies Kent Hovind has been telling on his YouTube channel about his wife. He said I tripped over a rug, or I tripped over his hip, or I fell. That is all baloney. And if you'll notice, There's nothing in the screams that says, "Uh-oh, I'm falling." No, those are screams of someone who was just injured, who was just betrayed, who was just shocked out of her mind. I've never, ever been abused physically before. And if I tripped and fell, I would fall, as he claims I lunged forward, which I did. I lunged to try and grab his phone. But he grabbed me by the hips, elevated me, and slammed me down, perpendicular to the floor. I landed on my back. Another lie Kent Hovind tells is that he immediately offered to help me up. You'll notice that's absent in the recording. Again,
So I'm just gonna pause it for a second. Yeah. So that's in 1.75. So you can already hear that she's finding it hard to even make this recording. But the only reason why she did is the fact that Kent Hovind went immediately onto YouTube after making bail and set up a stream. And in that, he spent about 40 minutes bringing in testimony of how she's bipolar, how she's crazy, how she's making shit up. It was shocking.
And I think
even the dogs are outraged.
Right? And Pale Blue Mama, you were saying about, it's upsetting that she had to say that, but it's because of all the people in Kent Hovind's camp who are going to come and, say all these things about you, not listening to the whole thing, but, just commenting on it or whatever, that she has to say that up front. It's sad, but I feel like she has to.
Yeah, I guess that's
because of the situation she's in.
I was gonna mention something about the tripping incident because I've gotten that excuse before, like, oh, you just tripped or whatever. I fucking hate that so much. Sorry, the dog.
No, it's fine, and let the dog get its anger out. Yeah. So pretty much immediately after getting home from paying the bond, he strikes up a live stream like that. That's just absolute insanity. And from
am I allowed to flip off the camera when I'm mad?
Yes, you can.
Is it...
Yes,
okay.
You can.
I was wondering how PG we are or whatever.
Hello, I'm Irish. There is no PG on the show.
Because
no.
That's how I feel about that. Yeah. That's how I feel about it.
I think everyone is in the chat is straight up with you. Right.
Hurt. Both emotional. I'd say primarily emotionally and physically. I couldn't breathe properly. It hurt to move in certain ways. Later that night when I was trying to make the bed, every time I reached to pull the sheet, I was in pain. I couldn't lift things for weeks. But I think the screaming was primarily emotional. Listen to the audio to confirm that Kent does not say, "Oh, honey, are you okay?" as though I would have fallen. No, he knows I didn't fall. He doesn't show any concern about my well-being or safety whatsoever. Listen, and you will hear he is cold as ice. He is condescending. Instead of saying, "Honey, are you okay? Let me help you up," he says, "Gee whiz, what are you doing, Cindi?" as though I did something wrong in him body slamming me.
I will be glad to go over all of the text back and forth with you, but I'm going to record. Okay. Right, but I will record the conversation for my protection.
You're after that, then just
well, I don't trust you to get it straight.
So keep rubbing it in, making it worse.
No. Let me read it to you. I'll give my response.
Just leave.
Just leave?
Yep.
Why, I've got nothing to be ashamed of in anything I would say.
Can we slow down this part of it?
Then I have to record for my protection, Cindi.
Leave!
Yeah, I can slow it down. So just really quickly, basically, it's the audio has started. I'll go back to normal. The audio has started, and
1.25 even, or
yeah, if you want, I'll go to 1.25. And already he's trying to basically gaslight her. Damn it! Why are you doing that? Back into full screen. There we go. Yeah. And by the way, anyone in the chat that feels the same way that Manu does, we do have, well, for members anyway, we do have the Pogue Mahone, the middle finger for you guys. So yeah, if you do feel inclined, by all means use it. Fuck.
This is my house.
Leave.
No, this is my house.
Leave.
I don't want to leave.
Leave.
I'd like to get some resolution.
No, you don't.
Yes, I really do.
Start out by recording.
Yes, I'm recording right now. I have to for my
You do
protection.
not have to. That is an insult from the get-go.
You can record our conversation.
That's good. That's a tactic too.
I won't leave
Like
that alone.
when you're really upset, for them to just be like super duper cool, like because they know what the fuck they're doing. They've pushed
Yeah.
us over the edge.
There's a word for it. I forget what it is, but it's like basically you see how hysterical you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god. Like I swear to God, my father has called me crazy for years, but like he will literally torment me, and then I will lose my shit, and he will act like I'm a bad person because I yelled. Like, oh, I hate that. Okay, sorry, Crafty.
No. By all means. Anytime you want to stop, by all means, have a chat.
Yeah, that
And
was a really
again-
good point.
Again, just to put in the chat, there is the donate button for the coalition, the Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence. So this is in this state. If you do want to help them out, please do. So that's the first attempt at gaslighting. But yeah, I get what you mean. They wait until you're already wound up. They've spent like the whole day winding you up, and then they record. And they record when you're emotionally vulnerable in order to make you look like the loose cannon.
My father literally has cameras all over the fucking house, downstairs and outside. So, but every place that he's, but like there are certain places that the cameras don't see, and that's where he, puts his hands on me. So he's never actually caught on his own cameras.
Yeah, this is next level manipulation right here.
Mm-hmm. They think about it. That's the really sickening part about it, is that they think about it. It's not just an emotional to them. To you, it's like, how can you even contain your emotions? But to them,
Yeah,
it's all manipulating, plotted. Exactly,
tell 'em.
dogs.
you tell him. I love that dog.
She's just pissed at Hovind.
Well, you continually called me a liar
Oh,
this
shut
morning.
up. There's not a single text that says anything about it.
Oh, you were yelling out of the bathroom while I was walking out. Liar, 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 liar. Weren't you when you get in the shower this morning?
It was.
You were. I didn't lie.
Why didn't you respond to text? Is that what you just said you
I
were
was
going to
just
do?
about to do that, and you told me to leave.
Because you're recording it.
But that's good.
That's not love.
Neither is what I'm hearing from you.
Yes, it is.
This is what
Okay, sorry. That one phrase, "that's not love," is such an important phrase. I remember going to watch, I think it was one of the MCU movies. I think it was Infinity Wars, with my niece. And Gamora is standing on the top of the cliff with Thanos, and Thanos like turns to her as if to say, "Yeah, you're the one person I love, and I'm gonna kill you for it, so I can get what I want." And she turns to him and she says, "That's not love. This isn't love," And it just really defines it. That level of control, that level of manipulation is not love. And to be able to call it out, what he's doing, recording her when she is upset, instead of actually having a proper conversation with her, like being able to define it and say, "This isn't love. What you're doing right now is not love." It takes a powerful person to be able to identify that in the moment.
Yeah, she
I
seems like.
didn't love you. I
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I just from everything that I've heard about surrounding this, she sounds like such a strong woman, and it really brings back, this can happen to anybody. Just because it happens to you doesn't mean that you're not a bad bitch.
Exactly.
wouldn't care.
Well, then,
You're
sure.
treating me like crap and accusing me from the get-go that you have to protect yourself from me. That is a lie from the pit of hell.
There you go again.
Take your recorder and get out. And and be glad you have something on me with your little smirky smile.
I am not trying to smirk or smile.
You are smiling.
You are angry and bitter.
I'm
You can hear the smirk in his voice. Anyone else?
This is why this is an audio recording and not a video recording.
Yeah. You're seeing things. You're I didn't say it that way. I didn't mean it that way. I didn't look that way. The way you're presenting this is what it's designed
Total
to do.
gaslighting. Total gaslighting.
Yeah, he was called a liar before, and that's, you know, a bit of that as well. Like being told that no, I never hit you, or no, you just tripped, or whatever, you're lying, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you just started the
Eventually kind of
conversation with an
believe it.
insult.
Sorry, what was that, Amanda?
Insult?
Yes, it is.
All you've done over this whole thing is insult me, Cindi, calling me a liar 50 times.
Oh, before we go any further, warning to people who have headphones: when she does scream, it's loud, and when she does shout, it can be loud too. So watch your ears, please.
That damn recorder out of here. If you don't want to make up with your wife, then don't. And now you're smiling again because you're so happy I swore. Now you got something else on me. Play it on the internet and say, everybody, this is why I had to leave my wife.
Because she said, damn.
Yep. She cursed. It'll continue in a sec.
Is it going to get loud when it comes back?
Kind of, yeah, because this is
I will
when
be glad
the
to go over all of the text back and forth with you, but I'm
incident
going to
happens.
Okay. All right. But I will record the conversation for my protection.
No desire to reconcile whatsoever.
I have every desire to reconcile.
You do not.
I also have a ministry to protect.
That is a lie from the pit of hell.
I don't have a ministry to protect.
Why does
Not for
that
me.
matter?
Can I just say, I love that. That's a lie from the pit of hell. That's a great
Yes.
comeback.
I love it. Also, she's not calling him a liar. She's saying that's a lie. There's a difference. She's not saying you're just a lie. You're just a liar. She's saying that's a lie.
You don't have anything to fear from me. I'm your wife. We should be able to have these grown-up conversations without you having to record.
But him
Protect
saying,
your own
like, I need to protect my ministry, like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, because of the amount of shit she knows. That's the point.
When she said you have no desire to reconcile, as in like you have no desire to like work on this marriage, he was like, no, I have desire to reconcile because I can't come out to my ministry as having a failed marriage.
Another failed marriage.
Right.
I'm your number one fan. I'm your number one heart. I have the same heart for this ministry. Turn off the damn recorder.
I'm sorry, I won't do that.
Obviously you don't care.
Well, let's get
You
it.
have no heart.
No, I care very much.
You have no heart.
Let's get another witness in here.
You have no heart. You have no love. You have no Holy Spirit.
Can I also just point out that is the way a lot of very ultra conservative Christians curse at each other. You have no Holy Spirit.
Wait, I'm confused
kind of
though.
funny.
How come she can say pit of hell and not, like, that's not a swear word, but damn is? She has to apologize. I'm confused. I don't know.
Is it hell is in the Bible, right?
So is damn.
Is it? Oh.
Yes.
The damn.
Yeah, yes it is.
Oh, it gets worse, my friends. It gets worse. And there's another 6 minutes of this.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, an ass. An ass, apparently.
Hate! I hate you!
I've done nothing but
Yes! Oh, that is a big lie!
I don't understand why you let the bitterness rule in your heart.
Because you are ugly!
What have I done ugly to you?
Why are you recording?
Listen, I can protect myself.
That's a lie! That is a lie! Get out! Get out! Get out!
This is my house.
Get out of the damn phone!
sorry, I am going to go back now and just a little bit. But so what is happening just about here? This is when the event actually happens. And so she's trying to push him away from her, trying to, get him out of the house and leave her alone to calm down. And he has his phone stuck in her face, recording everything. He has another recorder on the counter, which she doesn't know about. She has repeatedly told him she doesn't want to be recorded. Like, he goes above and beyond.
And she's asked him to leave over and over again. She just wants this to be over with and she wants him to go.
Absolutely. Like I feel like that should be like a number one ground rule for like any relationship. Like whenever you say like, I need you to give me space, you give that person space. Like he's just violating that like from the beginning of this.
Yeah. So when you first hear her scream, he's come into the bedroom, her bedroom. They have separate bedrooms that are connected. He's come into her bedroom, followed her into her bedroom with his phone in her face, constantly reminding her that he's recording her. So that's where you hear that first big scream, because she didn't realize he had followed her into the bedroom. She's discussed it in another podcast, but she pushes him out of the bedroom, and that's where you hear that first big bang, and she slams her door. And she tries to push him out of the house so she can actually have space. Now, whether or not she should have guided him towards the door in that fashion, I don't know. But we all do things when we're angry, like, especially in this condition, like.
Also, them having separate bedrooms really also puts that get out in more perspective. Like, this isn't shared space. This is her space.
Yeah.
Get out. Like, yes, it's his house. Get the fuck out of her room.
My ex actually broke the door of our bathroom in half because I went in to get away from him, closed the door, and sat down on the ground in front of the door. So he was trying to push it in, and it broke the top of it over me. Yeah. That was fun.
Right, so she will describe after the recording, but basically what happened was when he was before he got to the door, he turned back around. He didn't want to leave, obviously. She went to grab his phone, so she was moving forward to grab his phone to stop the recording, basically. And while she was moving forward, he grabbed her hips, brought her up into the air, pushed her back, and slammed his hand on her chest and slammed her onto the ground. So that's what you guys are going to hear. I don't want anyone getting triggered. I know people are going to get triggered over it because it is a difficult thing to listen to. But we need to face the reality of what domestic abuse is.
Understand why you have the bitterness roll in your heart.
Because you are ugly. Why are you recording? That's a lie. That is a lie. Get out! Get out! Get out!
This is my house.
Damn phone.
What are you doing, Cindi? Why would you dump on me and grab me? There's no reason to get violent.
Shut up, you asshole! Give me the goddamn phone! Give me the phone! Give me the phone! Give it to me! Give it to me! Then turn it off! I did!
Wow.
So just to clarify, she did not throw the chairs at him. There were stools on in the thing, and I am sorry that I had to play that. But she did not throw the stools at him. She threw them in the way of him because he kept putting his phone in her face, She threw the stools down, trying to get back to her bedroom to put space between them. That's what you heard there, the big loud bangs. And then the final bang there was her going into her bedroom and closing her door.
No desire to reconcile.
There is a long silence here, so I'm just going to try and find where the audio starts back up again. There is a tiny little bit extra in the audio, and then as I said, I don't want to go too far. There we go. So that was the audio. The turtle move, she got the full audio from the trial. He had to hand it over. He thought that would absolve him in the eyes of the law for some fucking reason. Well, yeah, that's tough. It's tough to listen to. Now you'll hear from her. After the fact, she will explain a few things from her perspective and just some of the threats that was made against her, some of the agreements that they tried to make her sign, and thankfully she was strong enough and she had enough support that she wasn't bullied into doing any of these. So I know that was hard, but do you guys have anything you want to say?
To that specifically, no. I don't think I can. But this, what it says here, Cindi is having another bipolar episode. Yeah. Goes back to the whole, you're just crazy bullshit. It's more gaslighting. It's fucking awful.
And just his response, like, it's like she said, that's not the response. I couldn't even really make out the words at that point of what he was saying. I'm glad that she included it before for people, but to me it was about the tone of voice. Like
how calm he was,
and like almost sarcastic, like, oh, look at what you know, like, now come on, like
a
who
child.
says that?
So
It doesn't, like, if your spouse or anybody that you know falls and hurts themselves like that, even if it was their own stupid fault, like, you don't respond like that. That response is just so callous. Like, that to me is just like,
He didn't want to take responsibility for it, especially in the audio. He wanted to make sure, like, by yelling at her about it, basically, it makes him look like, I don't know. It
gives evidence that in his mind, sorry, my lamps are freaking out, I guess. But, yeah, in his mind, he's like, oh, it absolves him. When, like, in reality, it just shows how freaking cold he is. Just, I mean, it gave me goosebumps, just like how cold that response was.
It's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. And as someone, and one of the things that really frustrated me watching this whole entire video is he constantly tried to put forward the idea for months and months that she had bipolar. She doesn't have bipolar. She's never been diagnosed with bipolar. I have been diagnosed with bipolar.
Really?
And I have bipolar too. And although it's not the worst, it can be pretty fucking bad. But this isn't bipolar, guys.
This has nothing to do with bipolar. And the fact that, like, he's tried to convince people, like, oh, she has bipolar, like, that just puts another level to it. Like,
the other thing is what he has tried to do is present being bipolar as being insane, as
Exactly.
not as being criminally insane. Like,
It's insulting to all the people like you that have bipolar. Like, it's another level. It's another level of just ridiculousness.
but she goes through a lot here. And again, I want to thank Cindi for being strong enough to do this, because it's heartbreaking. So I'm going to continue.
You can tell that he accuses me of throwing the chair at him when all I did was push it to the ground. You can also tell I'm extremely upset. I did try and grab his phone. I did wish I could destroy that stupid phone. I would have bought him a new one. I felt extremely violated, disrespected, and I could foresee that my marriage and the life that I had was about to be over. He would not
You
deal
can
with
speed it
me
back up if you want.
on a heart-to-heart basis.
Yeah.
He was nothing but this
Good idea.
yucky,
You understand why I had it
old
on 1.75.
robot out to get smack on me. Because I had discovered some things about the ministry that they didn't want me to be involved anymore. Like I said in the video conference with Dr. Hovind and Ernie and Brady, July 5th, which is already on my YouTube channel, I had discovered deception, cover-up, and cult-like controlling behavior. I no longer consider it a ministry. It's a money grab.
You could see my face right now.
After
You
he
would
had
see my
uploaded the
shocked
audio,
face.
he was
Yeah. Can I just say, like, for someone who has made her whole life about that ministry and building that ministry, for her to come out and say it's not what I thought, I have done everything, I've put 150 grand into this ministry that I loaned this person, I have done
She was his biggest fan.
yeah,
She really
I've done
was.
all this work, and then say, but it's a money grab. I see that now. Yeah. So fair play to her.
was looking for against his wife. He went out of the house and played it in front of several people around the camp. I wasn't there. I was in the bedroom screaming.
So the first thing he does after leaving the house is play the audio for all of his friends.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know what to say about that. It's pretty fucked up.
That's exactly. That's some abuser
God.
Activities right there.
The night that I had to call the cops on my ex, he fucking called my mother. Okay? My mother was on his side about it too. I fucked up family if you haven't figured it out. But yeah, so it's kind of the same idea. Like, get someone on your side right away. Fuck.
Oh, look how I'm the victim of
It's about
this
controlling
person
the
that I
narrative.
victimized.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first thing he wanted to do is control the narrative. He wanted his recording so he could go tell his friends, look, she's having another episode. I'm innocent. I was calm. I didn't do anything. I'm a saint. She's crazy. And it is all about controlling the narrative. And unfortunately, when someone has the ability to control the narrative, it gives them power, because then you're starting from behind. You're starting, like, I had that recently where people doxed me, and I released the fact that they doxed me, and then they were like, wait, you weren't supposed to tell people that. We were. Do you know what I mean? And it was about controlling the narrative. I wasn't going to let them do it. But when you start from controlling the narrative, when something like this has happened, it is about power. It is about control. But I'll let her continue, because some of the things that she reveals is just incredible.
But several people told me that he played it for them. Jonathan and Bethany, Freddie and Manon. I don't know who else. And he told them the same thing he and Ernie and Steve and Brady had been falsely spreading around campus for a stinking year. That I'm bipolar, which is a lie. It's a common tactic used to discredit a witness. It's exposed in the 1940 movie entitled Gaslight.
Good
If you haven't
movie.
seen the movie, you really should. You can see in the picture how the man is kissing the woman, and the woman knows it's a phony. You can see in the other picture that she's intently watching the concert, and he is plotting how to make her scream in the middle of the concert. Don't miss the ending. He will get his just rewards.
Yes, he does.
This slander being spread around campus that Cindi was bipolar caused such consternation in the marriage that surveys were given to 9 volunteers so that I could have somebody witness for me that I was not. Out of the 9 people that filled it out, it was nearly unanimous. No, Cindi's not bipolar. No, I never told Ernie Cindi was bipolar. Ernie is also a liar. He made that up. He also made up that Julie was afraid of me because I'm such an evil being. Julie is about to give her testimony to AJ. We will discover that that is another lie invented by Ernie. The person who is filling out this particular survey is stating no. They have never witnessed evidence of Julie being afraid of Cindi. On the contrary, they love each other. Number 5, have you witnessed evidence that Julie is afraid of Steve? Yes, they have. So have I. Here's another nice lie by Ernie that Cindi has an axe to grind against Steve. She has no rational reason to be concerned or upset with his behavior. However, this person witnesses that Cindi doesn't have an axe to grind. That they feel, number 8, that Cindi has legitimate concerns about Steve. About everybody who spends any time at Dinosaur Adventureland has the same concerns about Steve.
Just to explain, Steve and Ernie are. Steve was the guy who basically was living in her house. She evicted him because of other things, and he smashed up her house. And he also threatened her with a weapon. Ernie is on the board of directors for Dinoland.
Can I just point out, as someone who analyzes scientific data for a living, 9 fucking surveys is not going to give you any kind of reasonable result. That's dumb. He was clearly like picking the people he wanted and just gave it to a tiny. Oh, that's yeah. That annoys the fuck out of me, especially for someone who calls themselves a scientist. Which we know
if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to skip the surveys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because there's a lot of them, and they're basically being asked. Yeah, they're basically being asked the exact same thing over and over and over again. And what is that called when you try to get a different answer every time you ask the same fucking question? Is that called insanity? Yes, it fucking is. Christ.
Are you concerned that not only Dr. Hovind, but Ernie as well believes Steve over anyone else, regardless of any evidence? Yes, indeed.
Evidence? Is anyone surprised that Hovind doesn't believe in evidence?
I mean, he's a scientist who says that, like, he believes in creationism, right? So,
anyone surprised there that he believes his bestest buddy over any kind of evidence?
The Bible is his evidence.
It's all the word he needs.
Yeah.
For a Christian ministry, I will stand against that. There's something going on, and that's why they want me silenced and discredited. Because of the prevalence of their false accusations that I'm bipolar, I got a psych eval. The psych evaluator noticed that my issues with anger center primarily around my husband, and since I've been separated from him, my anger and impulse control is improving by the day.
Shocker.
The psych evaluator notes there are no indications of severe mood swings or bipolar disorder. Personally, I would say the same thing. Since my father is bipolar, we have all been watching our behavior since we were very young because we were afraid we would inherit my father's disorder. And none of us has. And we are all watching each other in addition to watching ourselves. And my mother has seen my father's bipolar and knows exactly what it looks like. In fact, I scored very high
she has
on the
to
bottom right.
Go and get this assessment done just to prove that she's not like, you know, it's just that's not okay. Yeah, I have to prove that I'm not what you say I am instead of anybody believing me at all.
Right, like she has to go get a certificate of sanity or something. Like,
right? It's fucking nuts.
First of all, the idea that you have to justify yourself is bullshit. But second of all,
Mhm.
the idea that you can't live with bipolar. I mean, this is what kind of
Right.
gets to me
Yeah,
about all of this
obviously.
discussion, and maybe
I feel.
because
I
I
just
have
feel
it.
like. I feel like Kent doesn't understand what bipolar is. He just thinks he has this idea of it. That's kind of like the same with my father. Does not believe in depression at all because he's,
Yeah.
I don't know, an
But
asshole.
this is
But like,
frustrating, though. The idea that you can't live with depression or with bipolar. The idea that to be bipolar means you can't be believed in anything you say. You can't be believed, and that's what's being put forward here.
And like
Um,
that type of thing would be justified
Yeah.
if
To
she
question
was bipolar.
someone, to question someone, the validity of someone's feelings is justified because she has bipolar. Bullshit. I will call bullshit on that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Goddess Gummer says, remember, we're talking about the guy who actually thought he had a case to sue the government for like $500 million. I know. He's a fucking moron. But still, and this is what makes people like Kent Hovind dangerous, especially for the mainstream. This is not just a normal preacher. He is out of his mind insane, and he gets away with it. And what annoys me is that they only went for what was a number 3, the third domestic violence in the 3rd degree.
Yeah, because it sounded like he was guilty of 1st degree, but I
Well,
wasn't
for certain
the
second,
judge.
but they probably just took the case for 3rd degree. Personally speaking, I would have gone for 2nd degree. But it's a misdemeanor now.
How well paid was his attorney?
True. Right. We
You'll
shall
see
continue.
I have very high scores on resiliency, self-value, self-direction, personal relationships, sense of belonging, other than my marriage, of course. My low scores had to do with the fact that I was not happy with life at the moment, considering my whole entire life just had the rug ripped out from under me. The marriage that I thought was from heaven was from hell. So yes, I reported I was very unhappy. I felt extreme pain, treachery, betrayal, deceit, but only having to do with my marriage and the workers associated with my husband, which would be Ernie Land and Steve Lynn and Grady Byram. Yes, I have mild depression, mild to moderate stress levels with physical symptoms. Physical symptoms would be nausea, panic attacks, and interference with eating and sleeping. Again, pointing out the obvious, sometimes anger is merited. We all get angry sometimes. It doesn't mean we're insane. And those of us who do remain calm, such as Dr. Hovind, it certainly does not mean he's the righteous one. He's got the best poker face, as you can see from the July 5th Zoom video. He, Brady, and Ernie never changed their facial expression almost the whole time.
Now, I do want to pull on this because they did the exact same thing the other day. The show opened with people who were visiting Dino Adventureland, whatever the fuck it's called, telling him how great he is and how great the theme park is and all this shit, and then went into a tirade against her with one of his bestest buddies trying to pretend like he's neutral while all the time talking shit about her. But they were his expression. And what's more, I really don't want you to watch Kent Hovind's stream, but if you do, you will see that when he plays the audio of her screaming that we just listened to, he's actually taking a sup of his water or whatever the fuck is in his cup. His facial expression does not change at all. His demeanor doesn't change at all. That does not say to me someone that actually gives a shit about what's just happened.
I'm sorry. I would never pride myself on that. I don't mind showing my emotion. Again, AJ's body slam video with me explains why I was so provoked. It goes into the history of Dr. Hovind recording me for months, beginning with our very first marriage counseling session. Again, I thought a marriage counseling session would have the assumption of privacy and
Yeah,
would be a
that's
heart-to-heart attempt to understand and reconcile. Rather, at the end of the session, Dr. Hovind told both myself and the counselor that we had been recorded without our knowledge.
He recorded it without telling them. How mental is that? You go in to a marriage counselor and then you record the session as ammunition to use against the person you're there with.
I mean, that's like recording somebody in like a confessional. Like that's worse. Like, I mean, like a Catholic confessional, not like a like confessing to a crime, you know, but like where they, you know, talk about how they had lustful thoughts about their whoever, you know. Like it's such an invasion of privacy to record a therapy session, like a counseling session. However, yeah.
But it's not even that. It's not just that he recorded it. He recorded it without their knowledge. Without their knowledge. Technically, if you're going to record someone, you have to tell them you're recording them before you start the recording. And FYI, I just put the donate link again. Sorry, guys, no super chats on this one. I don't want super chats because this is too important of an issue. Please, any donations that you want to make to the channel, make it to the Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Please, please help them out. Because they really do need it. It frustrates me. I don't know how legal it is to actually record such an official session without actually informing the participants. Do you guys know if that's even legal?
I was just Googling it. I believe Alabama is a one-party state. So most conversations, so long as you're a participant in the conversation, it is legal for you to record it. But usually there are exceptions to that, such as in an attorney's office or a counselor, like usually a mental health. So I don't.
Rob Parks is screaming, "It's not legal! It's not legal!"
Yeah, if it's just a conversation, technically it is legal. But I still think that if it's a setting like that, it's still you're presumed to not have it being recorded.
Yeah, consent of recording depends on the state you live in. It's not legal to record medical sessions. I mean, would it be considered medical session? It depends.
Mental health does fall under our rules. That's the HIPAA laws.
HIPAA. Sorry, I do watch the tips from the ER and it's like HIPAA. If any of you watch the tips from the ER, it's brilliant. Sorry. We'll continue.
Yes, that's provoking. And when we got home from the marriage counseling session, Dr. Hovind had ordered Steve to change the bedroom lock so that I could no longer use the spare bedroom. Because Dr. Hovind gets a narcissistic injury when I don't sleep with him. The only time I don't sleep with my husband is when I'm hurt, betrayed, furious. Every other time, I sleep with him.
Right. Just real quick. What he did was he got his friend to go into their home and change the lock on her door so she couldn't have her own safe space.
Like he just took her safe space.
When she says sleep with him, does she mean just sleep in his room or have to have sex with him? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I'm assuming that she means in the room, but okay. Yeah.
I mean, either way, that's fucked up if you need your own space. I mean, but if it's the other way, she's very nonchalant about it, like she expected it, and that kind of.
That's why I'm thinking that it just means to physically sleep because of the way that.
I mean, think of the transformed wife. You know, there's no such thing as marital rape. Some of the more extreme sects of Christianity.
You think he wants it every night? That's so gross. Sorry, now I'm thinking about it. It's like
it's exactly what we all had in our heads. Like, ew.
I feel like Tattie's gonna lose it in the chat though.
I know, yeah.
It's okay, Tattie.
Daddy's like, I want to smash his face in right now. I know, we all do. But yeah, this. So yeah, just to reiterate, what he did was while they were at couples counseling, and he recorded them without their knowledge. She's coming home after the session. He tells them, I've got this recorded. Nah. I'm going to use this against you if you ever stand up to me. She has to go home to a lock on her bedroom door because she is not permitted to have her own space if he doesn't want her to.
Fuck, I just like this literally just happened to me.
I know.
I was away for a week, and I came home my parents had gone through all of my stuff and locked the door to my room, like put a lock on it, so I couldn't even go in it, and threw out like a bunch of like it. Well, I like my son. You know, obviously they weren't going to throw him out of his room. He has a really big room. So I slept in there for a couple days, but then it only took 2 days after I'd come home for me to have to call the cops. And they were like, you can't do that. You need to let her back in her room. So at least I got it back. But yeah, no, that exactly fucking happened to me like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. Jesus fucking Christ.
So ridiculous.
But it's sick.
Control. It's the control.
It is. And it's dehumanizing. Like the stuff, going through all of my stuff, you're not a person. You don't deserve any kind of privacy or anything whatsoever. That's how that made me feel. And
like you're a child or something. Like
like,
you wouldn't even do that to a child. Like, yeah.
I don't treat my child that way. I would never. Like, my son is 17, and I have always, you know, he's his own person. Even when he was little, I give him that, you know, I listen to him and I give him respect. That's just something that my parents never did. It was always about ownership. You know, they felt because they're my parents, they literally own me. So,
just to say goodbye to Audrey Rebedew. She has to go. It is nice to see you in the chat, love. I will see you on Sunday, I hope, when Creaky goes live. Me and Audrey have this thing where we literally just drive Creaky Blinder insane. It's great. We have great fun in his chat. But yeah, this is just so gross. Just, I mean, it's that at that point you're just sitting there saying, "What the fuck am I doing?" You know. That's my feeling on it. Like, although it's very hard to leave in that circumstance, at the same time you're just sitting there like, why am I putting up with this?
Well, right, because it's her husband. It's her. She's surrounded herself with this community at this point. Like, for her to say no, I'm leaving. Like, she's got to turn her back on so much her whole life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You'll notice that not only do I provide the link here for the body slam incident of AJ's channel, you'll also see there's another video on AJ's channel documenting that Dr. Hovind has a prior assault and battery charge in Pensacola, Florida, that has strikingly similar reports from the woman involved, including a false accusation that she was mentally unstable. Dr. Hovind has been lying for a very, very long time. I'm actually praying that his first wife and family come out.
Right. That's a little snippet.
I had seen that charge and I had seen that it was dropped, and I did touch on that just because it came up when I was looking for this one. But yeah, I wonder if they come out and talk more about that, or if they signed an NDA.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say she did. I'd say, looking at what she's going to reveal in the next few minutes, the absolute pressure, the hounding, the bullying almost to try and get her to sign this fucking NDA. I'd say, and especially like, she had hindsight. She was able to see these other documents. She was able to see that he has done this before. So she had the benefit of that, whereas his first wife didn't. Even if she didn't believe it, she knew that the accusations were there.
She knew that at this point, it's like, okay, well, he had a chance to become a better person and he didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Another lie Kent Hovind says that is documented in this recording is that he was trying to leave, but I was blocking him. You'll notice that's absent in the audio you just heard. You'll notice, on the contrary, I asked Kent to leave probably 10 different times.
Like a bunch of
Kent
times.
refused to leave and said, no, it's my home. I'm not going to leave.
He actually repeatedly said, I have nothing to be ashamed of. It's my home. I'm not leaving. Yeah, he was trying to leave. She was pushing him out the door, and that's when he actually assaulted her. Beggar's belief, like.
Kent also refused to honor my right to not consent to being recorded on multiple occasions. Another indicator that Dr. Hovind is lying and has something to hide are the following 5 attempts that he tried to bribe me to be quiet about this incident. Like I said, from October until now, I did protect my husband's reputation because it was an isolated incident. He had never hurt me physically before. And the hurt that he was doing to me was simply emotional, psychological, and spiritual. Here's the first attempt at bribery on February 14th this year. Dr. Hovind is saying that he will consent now to returning the funds. Yes, there's going to be another video coming on the funds that Dr. Hovind and I made a contract about, where I gave him $133,000 in exchange for monthly payments for the next 20 years, so that I would not have to go buy another rental property where I would get monthly payments for life. So Doc is lowering the amount to $90,000 and saying that he will only repay it if I will agree to sign a non-disclosure statement to not discuss him causing my back injury. You'll notice there are several other items he finds embarrassing that he doesn't wish me to discuss, that I will be doing future videos on, such as Steve trashing my rental property, stripping it. Police report on that one, even though he denies it. And an incident about women's underwear that Dr. Hovind intentionally planted in our bathroom, also specifically to provoke me to anger the day before Christmas, so that I could display my rage to all the Christmas guests, and he could have the perfect excuse as to why I'm no longer needed at the ministry.
Jesus, that's dumb.
It's so calculating.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe it was real and he played it off like, no, it was just trying to get you mad, so he double wins. But either way, it just, what the fuck?
Well, I have an issue with that, because then that means that there's 2 women who actually wanted to be.
Oh yeah, this is true.
that no, just no. It's bad enough thinking that one would. No.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. But so, the day before Christmas, because he's trying to gaslight her all along, and what he tries to say is that Cindi left. This incident happened in October, but she didn't leave permanently until February. I mean, it's very hard to leave your community.
And that's something that I talked about when I first brought this up to people, was people were saying, oh, well, there was months in there from the time that the incident happened to the time. Well, yeah, because that was when she got to a place where she felt like she was safe and she was okay with coming out about it. That's, yeah.
She had to make her escape plan. Everybody, if you don't have an escape plan from this, here's what I want you to do. If you're ever in a toxic relationship, keep your bank account separate. Please, please, please. Never, ever have a joint account unless you truly, truly trust the person. Keep your finances separate.
My wife and I have a joint bank account, and we still also have separate,
yes.
Just have separate accounts. It's fine. It's fine.
The second is always have at least one person who you know that you can go to in times of emergency. So if you are kicked out of the house, or if someone does go the step that you can't, where you break, you have that one. You have money, 2, you have a place to go, whether it's in a different state or not. Have these plans. All of these ideas are also played out in some of the things. Actually, that reminds me, I do have one of these. If you do need to talk to someone about domestic abuse, or if you know someone that needs it, there's one for the US, there's one for the UK, there's one for Ireland. Of course, I need to put my own. And then wave-network.org has an entire folder full of contacts for you wherever you are in Europe. If you need help, get help. If you know someone that needs help, get them help. Or just approach them to ask, how do I approach someone I know or I believe is being domestically abused?
That's another thing I was going to say is if you are suspecting that somebody that you know might be in a situation and you are a person who is a safe person to go to, just maybe try and mention that in passing also, that, hey, if you ever need anything, and I really mean that, I'm not just saying that, I really mean that if you ever need anything, and make yourself available if you are a person that they can go to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know people, like for me, I had my mom. Like me and my mom do not get on at all. We are like polar opposites when it comes to pretty much everything. But when I decided that I'd had enough on that farm and I phoned her up saying, I can't do this anymore, I want to come home, she was like, get on the next bus. Do you need money? Do you need help? She was the first person that I called and said, I can't That's even great. Breathe anymore. So please make a plan. On many of these websites, you can find steps in just making a plan. I know someone at one point called a pizza place to report domestic abuse. There are people out there, they're listening, and they will help you. So I will be keeping that banner up for the rest of the stream. I should have actually put it up earlier. I apologize. Right.
Second attempt to bribe. You will see. I will be more than happy to help Cindi with her medical bills if she'll sign the following statement. That I take full responsibility for my injuries and hold Kent Hovind harmless for any damages done to me by the fall. It was not a fall. That's a lie. However, I do apologize for my unchristlike behavior. I really sincerely do, and I do sincerely seek to do better. I wish I would not have fallen for his trap. I wish I would have ignored him or walked away. I am sorry for that. You'll also notice on this little gem, Dr. Hovind is recommending, where I've circled the number 2, that I join all my finances, assets, and liabilities, which I have none. I have no debt. I didn't have any debt. I do now because I've had to repair over $10,000 worth of damage that Steve did to my property. I had to pay about $2,500 worth of medical bills for the body slam all by myself. So yes, now I am in significant debt. But at the time Doc wrote this, I had no liabilities, and he was simply asking me to give me everything. Give me all your houses and your money, and then I'll pay your medical bills.
So that happened.
Is this because they're not legally married?
I think so.
He wants the control. He wants the control.
Yeah. I was going to say he's put himself in a position of power, and he's made sure to do that probably for the entire relationship. Make sure she knows her place in a sense. And this is just the ultimate, yeah, you fuck with me, I'm going to take everything from you because I can. No.
Well, can I just address the glaringly obvious 3,800 basically of the medical bills totaled. Over half she had to pay herself.
Yeah.
What again, I really want to reiterate, please do not join your finances unless you truly trust the person and they're the right fit for you. But even with that, keep independence just in case.
Yep.
You know, it's not saying it's not a bad thing. And anyone, to be honest with you, anyone that says, "Oh, you won't join your finances and your houses to me," because you don't love me enough. Anyone that says that, red flag right there. Red flag right there. Anyone that respects you as a human being will respect the fact that you need your independence. This is why in Ireland, the child benefit, the child benefit was always given to the mother in Ireland, and regardless of the income of the house. And the reason why that was because what was happening was that a lot of the men were going out and drinking it, or they were going gambling, and so by the time it came to anything for the children, there was no money left. So the Irish state decided to give a particular payment to mothers to recognize the state's role in children's lives, and it was the best thing they ever did. I'm gonna be honest with you, because they didn't do much else for fucking children. Let's face it, like. But yeah, anyone that tells you you're not allowed, if you don't join all your finances, it means you don't love me enough. Red fucking flag. Red flag. That should be your red flag. I'm sure there'll be many more, but that should be a red flag.
What a slimy. So prior to our marriage, I had a home in California where I was getting rent every month so that I could be self-sufficient and not a liability on the ministry. I told Dr. Hovind from the very beginning that house was sole and separate. It would never be commingled. This is not my first rodeo. I've had men who changed later as well. My father gave me strict instructions: do not ever commingle that house.
Good
And
on
he thought we
her.
were correct. I would have had the whole entire asset dumped into Dinosaur Adventureland. And then when I had to leave because of abuse, I would have been homeless and penniless. Precisely where my husband would have wanted me, because then I couldn't have left. Gag number 3. If she will sign the statement that the accident causing the damage, and therefore the bills, was 100% her fault. Now, instead of tripping over the rug, he's claiming I'm tripping over his hip. Hips are fairly high off the ground, aren't they? How do you trip over someone's hip? Again, option 2, give me all your money. Good Christian pastors' wives don't have separate investments nor separate income. Interesting. Gag order number 4. This is an utterly twisted and perverted abuse of God's beautiful plan for a man and wife to love and understand each other. And yes, I do believe in some submission of a wife to her husband. However, I do not believe God Almighty wants anybody to submit to oppression and deception, which is exactly
Right. So have a look at this. He tries to get her to please answer the following questions before we proceed with any discussions on the evidence. Will you admit the fall was your fault? Since I answered the underwear question about 10 times, will you promise to drop the underwear topic and never bring it up again? Will you agree that the Bible says you have to submit to your husband?
Oh, Jesus. Right.
Seriously, he even names the chapters and books.
Oh, fuck my face. Okay.
Will you agree that I have asked you many times to drop the claims that I've slammed you onto the ground?
But like, doesn't that mean that she's technically lying in a legal document, which is illegal? Like,
Yeah.
why put her in that situation?
Also, I love his little forms for everything. Like, fill in the blank, and then like, it's just like it's so silly to me.
Where is it? Will you agree that you have not submitted to your husband by continuing to bring up those claims against him? He's referring to himself in the third person. That's hilarious. Will you promise to drop both claims and never bring them up again? Again, he's trying to reaffirm this. You can never have an opinion on this. You can never bring this back up against me. Will you agree that CSE has faithfully paid you the promised $1,300 a month without fail for the last 2 years? Nope. Apparently not.
And what is CSE? Is that a government organization, or I don't know what CSE is.
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea what CSE is. Is that the ministry that they have? I don't know.
Maybe.
Will you promise to stop making the claim that I'm trying to drive you out of the ministry or this marriage? When you've gaslit her for like a year, you attacked her, you've recorded her, you've planted fucking underwear to get her pissed off so she'd have an episode. You've unfairly diagnosed her, even though you're not that kind of a doctor, you're a fake one. Please check one or the other for each question before you expect any further action or discussion on these topics from me. Fuck.
I love that what he does sign it love, Kent Hovind. So
Well,
I
see,
mean,
I wish only for you to have peace and the joy of the Lord and submit to my authority and leadership and be my wife.
This is a spouse. Like, that's every once in a while it keeps smacking me back in the face that it's like, this is his spouse.
No,
He's trying to reconcile the marriage.
but let's just read that one more time, okay? Let me just read that one more time. I wish only for you to have peace and the joy of the Lord and submit to my authority and leadership and be my wife and an example for others to follow. That's what's chilling. Be an example for others to follow. That I can do anything I want and you will fucking lap it up. You will keep coming back. You will know your place. This is fucking dangerous.
yep.
Yep.
He doesn't care. Like he has so much invested in his image or whatever his image is to the people that think he's, not a insane crook. So of course he's going to throw everything at the wall to see if he can try to stop
It
anything out.
It actually reminds me of an interaction, some of the interactions I used to have with my dad. My dad was he was actually psycho. And we would be in the arcade or whatever it was, and he'd come out with something like we'd be talking about school. How's school going? I was about 7 or 8 at the time, and he'd come out with like, how's school? And then he'd turn around and say, well, and he'd be so calm. One of these days I'm going to come up and murder your mom and your sister and make you watch, and then I'm going to take you far away. So what cartoons do you like?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my childhood. Yeah. And it just reminds me of that. It's just like, I want you to know joy and peace, but submit to my authority and leadership. Be an example. Fuck off. Like, that chills me. That chills me.
Yeah, it's yeah, it is quite psychopathic, isn't it?
Little bit. And the fact that you thought that would be a good thing to write down. Like, let's just show my psycho for everyone to see.
Yeah, put it in black and white for everyone to see, and red. Sign it in red so you can see that I hand signed it.
Signed it in blood.
They usually just do that for legal documents over here to show that it was signed in person, because back in the day, people didn't have color copiers, I guess. So.
Nice.
Exactly what my husband expects. His idea of submission.
So it's also very old school, which I appreciate.
Go on.
I was just saying it's also very old school, which I appreciate. Like, I don't think I've seen anybody sign something in red in literally a decade. Like, even legal documents.
He just had the pen, and he wanted to make sure all the stuff he was outlined was like, this is fucking important. I just think it was for the red pen, so that's why he signed it in the red.
Maybe.
He wanted to make a fucking point.
Yeah.
He wanted to make a point. And my God, did he make it. That shit is toxic. Right there, it's toxic. Thank you for showing us that, Kent, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
How the fuck did you think this made you look good? How? Anyway.
Still have to come to bed, honey, or you're disobeying.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see he wants me to sign number 1. The fall, the non-fall, was all my fault. No, sir, I won't agree. Number 2, Dr. Hovind is claiming that he's already answered the underwear question, the women's underwear in our master bathroom that nobody uses except for Doc and I. He's claiming I have no business to inquire about such things and I should drop it and never bring it up again. No, sir, I will not. I know that you're
Also, can I just say it's slightly unnerving that she keeps referring to him as a title, the doc. That
Listen,
was
you
your
think like he makes her like call him that as a sign of respect and authority?
yeah.
Do you think that she calls him that like at home though? Like, does she think
Yeah.
that she calls him doctor?
Well, doc even if that's a nickname that he has bestowed upon himself, like that's again that is
That's true.
authority. That is basically saying submit to me. I rule you. Ugh.
You're the only one who put them in the bathroom. And you telling me that you've never seen them tells me you're hiding something. Number 3, will you agree that the Bible clearly teaches a wife is to submit to her husband? Yes, it does. However, the Bible also tells us that liars will not be allowed in our home. We are to obey God first, not a liar. Number 4, will you agree I've asked you many times to drop the claims that I slammed you? Yes, I will agree that you have asked me many times. However, I don't have to drop.
I love the sass. I love the sass of that answer. Yes, I'll agree. You have asked. And?
That's so awesome.
Stop it because you're lying, you hurt me, you left me with the doctor bill, and now you are publicly slandering me.
Fucked up.
Number 5, will you agree that you have not submitted to your husband by continuing to bring up those claims? Yes, I will agree I have not submitted to you in continuing to bring up those
She
claims.
doesn't fucking need
Submit
to.
God rather than you. God wants justice. God wants you to provide for your wife. As one of your friends told you, even if it was a fall, which it wasn't, your claim that you provide for your wife means you'd pay the medical bill even if it was a fall. You don't provide for me.
Yeah. So she's given him money to keep his ministry going. He, as the husband, is supposed to be providing for her. What exactly is he providing?
Well, he's
Other
obviously
than an
not providing
unsafe
any
environment.
emotional support because he's standing there over her when she's on the ground screaming and crying and like, what's wrong with you? Like, so if he's not providing an emotional support, I don't know what he is providing because it doesn't sound like he's providing financial support either.
Yeah. Just real quick, I want to say hello to Blue Marble Science in the chat. Good to see you, Blue. Yeah, what we're doing is we're going through Cindi Lincoln, previously Hovind, and he was convicted in the last couple of days for domestic violence. So, yeah, we're listening to her side of the story, which, I mean, it's the more rational. It really is.
You never have. I've had my own income from California from the beginning. I bought my own groceries. I bought my own cabin. All you pay for is my utilities. Considering I work probably a 50-hour week, I think you're getting a good deal out of that. Will you promise to drop both claims? No, sir, I won't. 7, will you agree CSE has faithfully paid you $1,300 a month without fail for 2 years? No, sir, you paid me a little less than 2 years out of a 20-year contract.
Ouch.
And the last 6 months of the payments were while you were telling me that you would not continue the 20 years, that you didn't remember a contract, even though I showed you, that you didn't have authority to enter that contract. Therefore, I'm screwed out of my $133,000. You called me during those last 6 months of the payments a greedy bitch, a money grubber. Shame on you, Kent Hovind, Ernie Land, Steve Lynn, and Brady Byram.
That's kind of ironic for him to call her.
I know, right? But can you imagine loaning someone 130 grand and because you are expecting them to continue to pay, which they agreed to do, they're calling you greedy. Like, again, gaslighting.
Because she's asking them to honor their contract.
They don't have that. They don't have any honor.
Well, that's something that, some people do just when they owe money. They make a big deal about the person asking for it.
Yeah. I've run into that situation before where I loaned somebody money and then when it came time for them to repay me, they acted like I was the horrible one for coming to them for money.
They're the victim. They're the victim for you actually doing something nice for another human being, and wanting to be repaid. Like, how dare you want what is actually yours? How dare you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yikes.
Prior to the $133,000 contract, I had given another $103,000 purely as a gift.
So that's 230 grand she's given him. $230 grand. You can see why he married her.
Yeah.
Ministry has over $200,000 of my money from the sale of my California home, and you have the nerve to call me a greedy bitch. That is purely your bullying, intimidating tactic to get me to give you all my money. You are the greedy bitches. You are the money grubbers.
Yes.
Shame.
Yes.
Shame. Shame.
Can I just say,
She said it. I love it.
you're the greedy bitches. Yes. We need to clip that. We need to clip that. The next time Conspiracy Cats goes up in a debate against Kent Hovind, if he has the balls for it, I'm going to get him to play that. You're the greedy bitches. Fuck my life.
Shame. Will you promise to stop making the claim that I'm trying to drive you out of the ministry? No, sir. I will not. The underwear incident in our master bathroom on Christmas. The fact that you knew in advance that Steve was going to trash my place. That you did not discipline Steve for trashing my place. That you permitted Steve to threaten me with a gun concealed in his pocket without any chastising him or defending me at all. And then, after all that, much less disciplining Steve Lynn, you promoted him to a board member. Basically the highest position he could get, and putting him in authority over my money when he didn't even want to pay me rent before he trashed my place and stole all the appliances.
Yeah. So let's go over that. The guy who trashed her place and stole shit and fucking threatened her with a gun, instead of getting reprimanded for doing that to Kent Hovind's wife, he gets promoted. He gets rewarded for his toxic behavior. Just let that sink in.
That's fucked up. There's so many layers to this. There's so many like levels, and it just like takes it to another level. Like,
yeah, I can hear the Game of Thrones. Shame, shame, shame. Yes, he needs to be walked out. Well, no, actually, I don't want to see that. Let's not talk about that. Thank you, Tatty. Just again, a reminder, if you really do want to support this stream, the super chat function is off. You can become a channel member still, but the super chat function is off. Please do donate if you really want to donate. Donate to the Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Abuse. And help them change the fucking law so pigs like this actually get their just rewards.
Yes, sir, you were trying to drive me away. Yes, sir, you were. Because your lying, conniving ways and my truthful ways are incompatible. The fifth gag attempt. Again. If you will do this in writing and never bring it up again, I'll pay half your medical bill.
Can I just to say, is he on the way back to jail, back to prison? He's going to spend 30 days in prison out of a 1-year sentence. If he spends the 30 days, then the other 11 months are suspended, and basically a $2,500 fine. It's sickening.
I, Cindi Lincoln, was having an argument with my husband, Kent Hovind. He, following his attorney's advice, began recording the incident on his phone. I got angry and tried to grab his phone. I told him I was going to break it in half and flush it down the toilet. He held it out of my reach and tried to work his way to the door to leave. Again, I point out to you, I told him to leave and he refused. In my anger, I kept demanding his phone and finally tried to grab the phone. During that struggle, I did not fall over his hip. My husband lifted me by my hips and then proceeded to ram me into the floor. The palm of his hand was on my chest, and it pushed me straight down to the floor. The chiropractic report shows it could not have been a fall because the amount of my weight plus gravity would not cause that much damage. Chiropractor could tell there was additional force that caused all that inflammation and damage. And here we have another lie. I'm supposed to admit that he immediately asked, "Are you okay, honey? Let me help you up." If you listened to the video, you will know that's a lie.
Yep.
That didn't happen.
That certainly didn't happen.
And that's why he wants her to sign this, is so that he can like, wow, okay, well, he, you know, yeah, he can just dismiss it.
I do like the comment from Blue Marble Science in the chat. He says, "I'm from Alabama, but this is why I'm from Alabama." He doesn't live in Alabama anymore. Agreed. And this is why we're trying to change it, Blue. And the way you do that is, if you can, please donate to the coalition, the Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Please do, if you have anything to spare. I hate asking for money, but if you do, I know a few people were asking about super chats earlier. Super chats are off. Donate there instead. They need it more. They really do need it more. Look at this shit.
I am very sorry to burst many bubbles about Ken Hovind. Ken Hovind has done many good things. I was inspired by the fact that he opened Dinosaur Adventureland without charging admission. I was inspired by the fact that he would give away many seminar series. I was inspired by many of the scientific facts that he put illustration to that I understand.
Sorry.
I thought he was a genuine Christian just like you did.
Scientific facts. Okay. Sorry.
Scientific facts that he put into cartoon form for me to understand. I'm sorry, love. That's why you got swindled for 200 grand. Like that right there.
Like she says this whole, I'm so sorry to burst your bubble. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but like most of us knew. So, you know.
And I don't want that taken out of context, by the way. I'm not saying that she deserved to be taken for 200 grand. I'm just saying this is kind of why they got away with it. Brainwashing, yes.
However,
brainwashing.
The Bible warns us about wolves in sheep's clothing. He preyed upon me. Wolves like.
Yes. He preyed upon her.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
It's
she's obviously a strong woman, but she got in a position where it's exactly what he did. Ooh.
Yeah.
Honest women, because they're gullible and they think that the other person is honest like them. Now that he's gotten all that he wanted out of me, time to throw me out and get a new one. I never expected that, considering he was with Joe for 43 years. I thought I would have a faithful husband where we could work out all of our differences and stay together for life. I didn't leave him when he tried to rip me off of $133,000. I didn't leave him until he promoted Steve to the board after he had threatened me with the concealed gun in his pocket and trashed my house. And my husband sided with him and said I deserved it, just like he said I deserved the body slam.
I just can't get over that.
To me that.
Mm-hmm.
That terror.
This argument between my son and my father a couple weeks ago, and he basically, because Angel, my son, had mentioned, me also getting abused with my ex before I came here, and my father suggested to him that I deserved it. Like, even then, I deserved it then. And so he's telling my 17-year-old kid that it's okay to beat on women as I deserve it.
No one ever deserves that. No one ever fucking deserves that.
No. And it's never your fault if it does happen to you. All you're guilty of is trusting someone you love. And they're guilty of betraying that trust. So the fault is never yours. Please, anyone that's out there that's believing in any way, shape, or form that they deserved harm coming to them, whether it's emotional or physical, you didn't deserve it. That's bullshit. That's horrible. And the fact that you'd say that's your son.
Yeah, I had actually tape recorded it, or I used my phone. You know what I mean? I'm fucking old, okay? Mm-hmm. But because I heard them yelling, and I pulled out my phone, and I got him saying it. It's so sick to hear. And then my mother was in the room too, and she didn't really argue it. And then she gave some kind of excuse that I didn't tell them I was getting beaten. So it was my fault too for that. And which I did. Obviously, she knew. Like I said, he was on the phone with her the night I called the police on him. She fucking knew what was happening. I didn't tell her right away. But yeah, anyway.
But it's not a survivor's fault for not fucking speaking up any sooner. It's not. Especially if the people in your life you don't feel you can trust. Or not on that level. Do you know what I mean? The other part of it is, I mean, for me, it was the idea of letting people down. You know, as strong as I am, and I am a strong woman, I believe I'm a strong woman, I just didn't want to let people down.
Yeah. And
predators take advantage of that.
And that's part of it too, is like the whole, like, having, she, you know, like we were saying earlier, that she waited months between the time that this happened and when she reported it. But like, she had to come to terms with the fact that she was a victim before she could report abuse.
Tattie asks a very, very good question, and I probably will come back to it at the end. How can we help protect his next victim or his next target? By fucking talking.
Talking about it. And I was so upset. I was saying earlier that I was getting more upset the longer that this went on, when it was like, I think Godless Scummer did a video on it, but like, besides that, like, nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about it. I mean, obviously you are, Keelah, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I just can't shut up. Like, I can't keep my mouth shut when it comes to shit like this. I'm okay with being hated, but like, good. Yeah, agreed. None of the larger channels are covering this at all.
I mean, I've seen some people talking about on Twitter. They might come out with stuff, soon. Just edited videos take a couple days. So
yeah,
I think
I hope so.
Probably from Vice Rhino.
And guys,
say something.
If you do feel inclined, please do share this stream, because people need to hear her. The link to her channel is in the description below, as is the link to my amazing friends here. So please do share this stream with people. Have her voice heard, regardless of ours. Like, we'll keep talking about anything we need to, but this woman's voice needs to be heard. Her story needs to be heard. He shouldn't be allowed to dominate the conversation and dominate the narrative.
I was in enemy territory. That's when I left. My bubble was burst as well. I saw red flags and put up with a lot of abuse for over a year. I didn't want to believe that my dream was a nightmare and I needed to leave and get a new life. It became extremely evident he did not care. He was ripping out my heart. You'll notice when I was screaming bloody murder, he did not care. He does not love me. I'm not sure he has the ability to love anybody. The first trait of a narcissist is that they do not have empathy. People are objects to be used. Coming to terms with betrayal. The love he showed me the first year was just a fake, an act. And just plain hurt, because I really wanted that love. I really wanted that partnership. I really wanted that ministry. We were like two peas in a pod. Both of us loved that science ministry. We loved ministering to the people that came. Here's another lie by Dr. Hovind. I'm so sorry to inform you. You'll see this text message received from Kent Hovind in October of 2020, just 2 days after the body slam. He's telling people already, or me, this might not be a group text, it might just be to me, that I slipped on the rug and fell over my head. And again, the other lie, I immediately asked you if you were okay. You know, how much bull can you hear without getting real angry? And then, May 25th of this year, you see again, Kent Hovind. Cindi, there was no rug. I never said you tripped on the rug. I guess he forgot his story. When you're lying, it's really tricky to keep the story straight. I will, however, agree I was out of control, and I did lunge for his phone.
Can we just talk about that real quick? Again, this is classic gaslighting. I never said this, and this is why you always keep reports. Bring the receipts, people. Bring the receipts.
Save your messages.
You slipped on the rug as you fell over my right hip and hit the floor hard. I immediately asked you if you were okay. No, you didn't. You said, "What are you doing, Cindi?" in a very condescending voice. "What are you doing, you stupid bitch?" Like, basically in that tone. And then,
Well, have you
like,
ever
a liar
an
can't remember
abuser
their story.
puts their hands on you and then hurts you, but then acts like, oh, what are you're being a baby about it, or you're being dramatic about it. If you, yeah, I feel like that was kind of part of it too. He was trying to make her sound like she was, being dramatic. Obviously, she wasn't. That was pain and fear. Like you could tell.
Can we all giggle that the email address is blanked out? Pretty much everybody knows his email address.
In fact, I told the doctor that because I was so out of control and because I tried to grab his phone, that maybe I deserved to be body slammed. The doctor said, "Cindi, nobody deserves to be body slammed." I asked the police officer when I filed the report, "Officer, I was yelling and I tried to grab his phone. Do you believe that I deserved the body slam?" He said, "Cindi, my wife full on punched me one time and I didn't body slam her. I didn't hit her back at all. In fact, I believe that to lay hands on someone weaker than you is dishonorable."
Can I just say, in the same vein as it's not okay that Kent Hovind put his hands on his wife, it was not okay for the therapist's wife to put her hands on him.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Just want to make that point absolutely fucking clear. Yes, he fair play to him, he didn't fucking hit her back, which he shouldn't. But he should never have been put in that position in the fucking first place. I just want to make that very clear. Because regardless of anything, physical violence is never a good solution.
Yeah, it's never the okay solution.
It's never justifiable. It's not justifiable. Walk away. Do not physically put your hands on someone in anger. It's not okay. Regardless of what gender you are. It's not okay.
I agree. Just like stealing candy from a baby is dishonorable, and stealing $130,000 from your precious wife who loved you and shared your heart for the ministry is beyond dishonorable. They advise that as you end a YouTube, you're supposed to give a call to action. You don't have to do this, but if you would like to, perhaps enough public pressure would help Kent Hovind kindly pay his wife's medical bill. I would really hope, but I think this is beyond the realm of earthly possibility. I would really like if my husband would tell the truth so that Jesus would be proud, and so that people that Jesus wishes Kent Hovind to give an example for would see what a real Christian's like, instead of turning their back on Christianity because of all the hypocrites. Kent Hovind's phone number is publicly listed. I'm not divulging any of his private information. He gives it out all the time and takes 84 phone calls a day. God bless you.
So, yep, that was Jesus, the amount of bullshit that comes up on YouTube. That was Cindi Lincoln in her own words. It was intense, but it was important.
Yeah, that was heavy. But good to hear it in her own words.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Crafty.
I love you.
Yeah, thank you for doing all this work.
I feel it's important. I feel it's so important that we talk about this. It's not a conversation that I take lightly. It's not a conversation that I enjoy having. But I have seen the effects of mental and physical abuse throughout my life. And the only way, going back to Tattie's question of what do we do to protect his next victim, his next target? Talk. Speak about it. And we need to speak about it not as an abusive way, because people like him are always going to have the ability to pull people around him. And unfortunately, if you believe, you believe. And so it's more out of concern for Christians, that we have to embrace them and say,
Yeah.
look, this guy is toxic. It's not that your beliefs are toxic, even though I believe your beliefs are toxic, but it's more protect yourselves, and that's the big thing. Protect yourself, protect who you love, and have self-respect. Always remember that you're worth something, and nobody should be allowed to take that away from you. And by the way, when I say have self-respect, I don't mean that in an accusatory manner. I really don't. And I say that as someone who suffers severely from depression. It is hard, but there are people here. There are people on these networks. If you see along the bottom, there are people who will listen, and sometimes that's enough. Not always, sometimes it's enough.
Yeah, it's if you have, you know, a someone that you can just go to with this stuff, it's like, yeah, it's an unbelievable help. Because I had isolated for so long because that's what I thought I deserved because of the abuse. But coming into just this community and having people, I have like one person that is always there for me. He always listens to me about all of this. He's like been there almost every single day for like a year, just listening to all of this and going through it with me. And I could not have gotten through it without him. So I think it is important to have at least someone you can talk to, because it's so much worse when you just take it all on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it's not an easy conversation to have. And I've gone through it recently. I'm going to be very, like, I was honest last week when I talked about my rape, when I talked about having an abortion. One of the things that's done, I can't, I have a new doctor. It took me months to even get a new doctor when I moved back to Dublin. I'm in Dublin over a year, but it wasn't until like, January, February that I actually got a new doctor. I don't trust doctors anymore because of the way Ireland has treated women in the past 35 years. But he wanted to send me for a smear test, and he didn't understand the history, my recent history, and I couldn't go. On 2 occasions, they set up the appointment, and I was having panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did was I reached out. I reached out to the Rape Crisis Centre. I reached out to Tattie. I reached out to Tusk. I reached out to Eddie. And I said, I'm having a hard time with this. I can't do this. And it helped. It helped.
Good.
Didn't solve it. Not saying it's going to solve all the problems.
No.
But a problem
Makes it
shared
easier.
is a problem halved. So if you are someone out there that's struggling, or if you know someone out there that's struggling, it's hard. It really fucking is. But you deserve the help, and there are people there. So don't be afraid to take it. Even to write it down. If nobody ever reads it, just to have your feelings out, just to have what you're going through so you can process it. And always have a fucking way out.
And to add to that about writing it down, there was a case recently here. I don't remember any specifics about it, but I do remember that there was something where she was able to get, I don't remember if it was like a higher level of conviction or what, but it was because they were able to bring in her diary, that she did write it for herself. It was for herself, but because she had dates and further evidence of previous abuse, that then they were able to bring that into the court, and that was able to assist in the conviction of her abuser.
That's good.
I know it's fucking easy to say get help. It's a damn hard thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
I can't even explain how hard it is. Sorry, Amanda.
I was just saying this situation in particular. You have your worth absolutely stripped from you. So why bother getting help? You don't deserve it. What do you? So why? is so hard.
And I mean, when it comes to domestic abuse, these are the people who you trust most in the world. These are the people who are supposed to love you and take care of you. Abusing your trust. And that can be the hardest thing to admit, even to yourself. And so if you do need help, please reach out. I am available. If I can be there, I will. There are people who are trained professionals who I know it sometimes seems that you're just a number, but they do listen. And again, if it's not for it's for you. You say whatever the fuck you want to say. You hold them there until you fucking said it. Even if it's begrudgingly, screw it. That's what they're there for. Don't ever feel ashamed of needing to vent. We're all human, you know, and it just goes to show, although we are all human, there are some that they're the bells of fucking society.
Yeah. I'm related to a whole fucking lot of them.
I'm going to make one more call out for the Alabama Coalition against domestic violence. Again, I haven't had any super chats. I turned them off. I don't want them. If you really do if you value this content, if you value what I'm doing here, if you want to see more of it, be good. Donate to the coalition, please, and help them change things. If what you heard tonight actually affected you in more than just this is shit, if it affected you on more than that level, that's the base level, then please, if you can, donate and help them change that law and make it so any level of domestic abuse is not just a simple misdemeanor slap on the fucking wrist. Because that's bullshit. The only way of doing it is us doing it ourselves. So please donate. And if you can, which you can, because it's free, these incredible women who have shared this stream with me, who have been so fucking brave throughout the entire night, also deserve support and subscriptions. So their links are in the chat. Tattie, I know you're there. Throw their links back up. Please do support them. Savage, yours was the first one I came across when it came to the initial arrest. So thank you for doing that.
I plan on probably mentioning it in another stream, but I'll link people back up to this one.
Is there anything else you want to say? Is there anything you want to share out? I know you had a stream with your mammy today.
Yeah, if you guys enjoy that kind of content, it's just me and my mom sit around and chat, and I read her some Reddit posts. But you guys feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want, but no pressure.
And don't be jealous of her cat ears, although I am. Amanda, is there anything you want to chill out and?
No, I'm good. Just I have a channel and I'm on Twitter all the time, so that's about it.
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter. I feel like you guys get a lot of this stuff. I have dipped my toe into Twitter a few times, but it is like a friggin' tank of piranhas over there, and I'm like,
I use it more for the DMs than I do on it and stuff. But I try as hard as I can to not get into the super crazy shit. But yeah, I
am not on Twitter because fuck Twitter.
Good for you.
I am not on Twitter. Yes, basic trig. Thank you. It took the words literally right out of my mouth. I was about to just say just that. Twitter be toxic.
But I follow my friends and dogs and stuff. There are nice things on Twitter. I think I kind of have a little happy echo chamber.
Yeah, Maya.
Of course, I have friends that share shit with me that gets me really fucking angry. So
Twitter's fine if you keep your ego out of it. Problem is, nobody on Twitter can keep their fucking ego out
That's
of it. That's
exactly
the whole entire
right.
point.
Exactly right. Yeah. Anytime I get mentions on Twitter, I'm just like, ugh.
Crap. Now, for anyone who is new to my channel or who hasn't subscribed, I am involved in the maintenance of a channel called The Painted Progress. And every Friday in and around this time, we release another video. So check it out. Painted Progress, looking at random things that we use in society and don't really pay attention to where they came from. So it is awesome. I think it's acrylics tonight. And we are working on season 5. I say we. Yeah, per Jeff. Stephen Cup of Reason is the mastermind behind the Painted Progress, and he is my co-host for Sunday's live stream, and we have Tattie-bogle coming on. So yes, it's
You
gonna be
can watch, but like I said last week, you'll only understand every 3-4 words or so.
Yeah.
I love you, Tattie. I'm kidding.
I love Tattie. I can be his translator. It's fun. So yeah, for me anyway, I'm gonna say for me, 12:30 every Sunday I do Life on the Flip Side with my co-host Stephen Cup of Reason, who lives in Vietnam. We go live every Sunday, and this week is on my channel, so have a look out for that. And click the bell, people. Click the bell. How many people are not clicked? It's awesome. I don't usually do that shit, but yeah. And as you can, Tattie is on. I think I'm washing my hair. Correct response, Basic Jig. I will see you on Sunday. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for coming. This was a difficult stream. I'm still kind of holding back tears because my heart is broken for that woman.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming out. Stay safe. Speak out. And be awesome. And wear your fucking masks, people. Get your vaccines. Bye.
Oh, yeah.